Thank you guys for joining us. So I'm super excited to even have this topic come up at the FTA because one of the things that True Rest does, and I think any small business owner should do on a regular basis, is goal setting and planning for the year. And I think there's a lot of power behind manifestation and coaching and having mentors. So I was super excited to meet Kat and learn a little bit about her background, what she's doing, and know that she has also been floating on a regular basis anyways. So it's really in line with what we're trying to do here at the FTA, and she's got background in what we all do. So I'd love to introduce Kat and let her tell you a little bit about her background and let her get started.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Kat. I'm an integrative wellness therapist, and I recently started my own practice. I specialize in intimacy and relational energetics. So if you've never heard of relational energetics, it's really about how your mood or your emotional state of being affects those around you and vice versa. So I work a lot with people on increasing self-awareness and their ability to self-regulate. And so within my own journey of healing and self-awareness, I found True Rest, which has been incredible for me. And so, yeah, it's just another tool to have in that self-care and self-aware regimen that I preach to a lot of my clients. So yeah, it's pretty cool that I was able to connect with Mandy while I've had my own experience in that. So, and I'm actually at the True Rest in Austin, which is also pretty wild that we have that connection. But it's just been, like I said, another really awesome tool to use with my patients, especially people who are getting into meditation or who are getting into somatic experiencing. Does everyone know what somatic experiencing is?
Give us a recap.
Yeah, so just like the experience that you have getting into your body, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, don't really live in their body. They're very cerebral. They are very much living in their mind or easily influenced by a lot of stressors that happen. Yeah. Everybody's like, yeah, me. Yeah. Yeah, so it's really getting people back in touch with that innate body wisdom that lives within all of us, and getting very aligned with what you want versus what society tells you need to be or do, what your gender roles tell you what you need to be or do. So really helping people to find their own power. And what a hugely beneficial tool that I do with people that I'm introducing you today. Is this idea of magic goal setting. And so it's not just the inclusion of writing a goal, because that can be pretty daunting and tedious and just like really not that fun. So what I like to do with people is make it into a whole experience. So we infuse your five senses into the goal setting, and that's where the magic happens, because then you actually step into this idea of what you're trying to create. So if you've ever heard of future stepping, it's like living in this reality that you're creating every single day. So initially, yes, there's that goal setting piece, but then you don't really have to revisit it as much because you're more curious and worried about the feeling of achieving this goal. So then it becomes fun. So we are going to get into the secret sauce of creating a magic goal. And yeah, so you guys can have this for yourself. And I also have a little PDF too of once we practice this, you can refer to it without having to rewatch the video. It's just kind of a step-by-step on how to really infuse your senses into this experience. Does anyone have questions before we go ahead and start? No? Okay. Okay. So I used these colors because this was my experience in the float tank. I was loving the ability to choose my own color, because then there's that whole piece about like what specific emotion are you evoking with your color. So different colors have different abilities to evoke different emotions. So you can have that as your background color that's influencing your experience without you really having to think about anything. So we already talked about me. So the first step is getting clear. And so this step is about that whole process that we all know about in creating the original goal. So that looks like having it be very measurable, having it be very specific. So for instance, I want to have 5 new members. I think that's on the next, yeah. I would like to have 5 new members by the end of this month. So you're including what you hope to achieve in the next year. Those are your long-term goals. So you can create those for sales, marketing, spa experience, whatever. So those are like looking ahead. And it's actually fun to create the long-term goals first, because then you can really backtrack and think about the small bite-sized steps that you need to do to achieve that. So like I said, for sales, maybe you have a big sales goal and you think about what that looks like in the most specific way you can by the end of the year. And then you think about what steps can you make towards the long-term goal in the next month, day, and year. So that allows you to get very granular in what specifically you need to do every single day, every single minute, to make it to that long-term goal. So then the second one is to really write that descriptive goal. So now you have the clarity of long term, and then you're going to write it in the most descriptive way possible. So we have 25 new memberships by February 1st, 2022. So that's your typical goal writing. You have a timeline, you have a very specific measurable goal. So 25 new members by the end of 2022. You want to use present tense verbiage in the goals that you're writing. So instead of saying like we will attain, or using those futuristic type descriptors, you want to say we are, we do, we achieve, we complete, we attain. So you're already stating that that's something that's happened. And this is a really powerful thing for your subconscious mind. So if you've never worked with helping to program your subconscious mind, it is the part of your brain that is paying attention to everything that you do on a daily basis, whether you're actively paying attention or not. It's taking in all of this information and storing it and helping you to interact with the world without having to think. So the subconscious mind is like when you're driving a car, you don't actively have to think about driving a car because your subconscious mind is like, cool, I know how to do this. So in working with goals in this way, you're really helping to tap into that subconscious awareness that's going to lead you when your mind is somewhere else. So the next step is that 5 sense integration. So this is the coolest part about goal setting. So you are clear, you have that vision about the future, you get very specific and you have that outline, but now you're going to take each goal and you're going to integrate your 5 senses. So I'm just going to read the slide and then we're going to practice, but you're going to sit with your eyes closed, making a visual representation of the completion of your long-term goal. So now you're remembering step 1 and picturing what that long-term goal is. So maybe it's a bunch of people coming into the spa and everybody is happy, and you're feeling very joyful or excited. Any of those really regenerating emotions, we want to try to infuse that experience with your senses. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? What are you touching? For me right now, one of my favorite teas, I found at the float tank and I bought it. So now I'm like anchoring this amazing experience with my tea with
That
True
Egyptian
Rest.
licorice.
Yes. My favorite. So there's a anchor that now I just like every time I'm true rest, I'm like, cool, Egyptian licorice. I don't even have to think about it. It's just part of my experience, building this experience. And then once you get very clear on what that picture looks like, you're going to turn it into a movie. So now things are moving around. You're creating that visual representation of what it would feel like to have already achieved this goal. And then, so after you create that movie, great, you have this whole picture. You can already picture yourself there. You're happy, you're excited, people around you are excited. You're going to take a screenshot. So now you have this like postcard picture frozen in time of that experience for you. And then before even opening your eyes, you're going to take 4 big breaths to energize your scene. So when I'm working with clients, I have them breathe in through their nose and out through their mouth, opening their mouth. And you're going to do that 4 times. So every time you can even picture that screenshot getting brighter, getting closer, getting warmer. You're trying to like almost you're energizing that scene with using your breath. And then you're going to open your eyes. So now that picture is like ingrained, that emotion is ingrained. So of course you can always follow the goals that you wrote initially, but now you're being pulled by that emotional experience that you had in creating this whole experience. And so you can do this for all of your long-term goals. You don't have to do it for the short-term goals. You can just stick with those long-term goals, but it's very powerful. And then on top of that, you can take this whole process and go into the float tank and have an entire experience with creating this future stepping. So while you are having that sensory deprivation, the first like 5 minutes of your float, you can really just sit with the idea and the qualities of what you're trying to achieve and that emotional state. And that's going to enhance your float, but it's also allowing you to at that point really continue to program your subconscious mind in paying attention to anything that happens on a daily basis that will be in alignment with that goal. So we're going to practice this because I know it's pretty weird, but or it's pretty different, but it's so powerful. So I want to see if someone wants to volunteer, or maybe we can all kind of just say one goal that we're working on, and we're going to do this process together.
Yeah, I can start.
Okay.
I have some big picture goals, but I think the one that I'm most excited about that would really get me jacked up this year is if we win this contract with the FC Austin professional soccer team. So we're having those
Ooh.
conversations. I've had like 3 of their admin in, but I haven't had the players in yet. We're talking about it, but that would be a big win for me and my manager. So my goal is to win this yearly contract with the FC Austin team.
That's amazing. And then give me the first date that pops out of your mind, like when you want it to be done by.
Ooh, we're in the end of January. I'm going to have it done by middle of February, February 15th.
Okay. February 15th, 2022.
I'm writing it down.
So I have a partnership with FC Soccer.
Yeah, I was writing my goals as we will, but we will is too futuristic. It needs to be like, I currently own it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So we have a partnership with FC Soccer on February 15th, 2022, or by February 15th, 2022.
Okay.
All right, Roy, what do you got for us?
Publish the FDA micro results by August 2023.
I published. Okay. Okay. And Marie?
Hey, I was not prepared for this, I'm just saying. So what I'm gonna
Okay.
say is I have completed all of my informational pamphlets by, what are we even, what month? By March, by the end of March of 2022.
Okay, good. And just whatever date first pops into your head. March what?
13th.
March 13, 2022. Okay.
Isn't it kind of amazing? You can think ahead, like when you want to get something done, but yet time flies so fast, you don't even know what day it is to begin with.
Yeah, I know. Okay, last but not least.
John.
So I have a goal because I have very important plans in my life. So the plans actually are already set in motion, but this is like one of those goals I have to get done before that, or I'm kind of like in a very bad situation. So I have a vacation I'm taking to Europe towards the, mid and summer, whatever. And I need to get my float center fully staffed and delegate everything in an efficient way. So that's got to be done by, I would like to say May 1st, just to be confident.
So I have that's a very specific goal. It's really good. I can't write it all down, but you can say I have and then fill in the blank. And then what did you say the timeline was?
You
May
got one?
1st.
May 1st?
Short term, long term, could be anything. Okay, by when?
What did you one more?
Yeah, have her share it. We'd love to hear.
I think that you need to figure it out. I am a veterinarian by. Oops, sorry. I did not
Oh, no.
realize I was not muted. Jesus.
No,
No, we're
that's
loving
good.
it. Share with
Yeah.
us.
I am a
Veterinarian.
I am a veterinarian by,
She has to do the math here.
yeah,
She's in school right now, kicking ass and taking names.
by
24.
maybe 2024 or like
She's gonna go check this out and figure out when the actual date's gonna be, right? We'll
okay.
talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow or
Cool.
Saturday. And I'm
Okay,
gonna mute
cool.
myself now. Jesus, sorry.
Why? I loved that. That was like real time getting excited about goal writing. When's the last time you got excited to write a goal? Not me. Never. Okay.
Every year I do it. So I love it.
That's good. Okay. So now you're going to take your goal and we're going to go through this process. So I'm going to have you all close your eyes. And now you're going to make a visual representation of the completion of your goal. So when it's all the way completed. So what are you seeing here? What are you tasting? What are you touching? What are you smelling? And what do you feel? You're stepping into that picture that you've created and adjusting the qualities for the most real feeling. So now there's parts that are moving. You feel like you're a part of a movie, perhaps. Looking around, just really trying to fill your experience for the most real feeling. And now you're going to take a screenshot of your picture. Now you have a picture in front of you. You can look at it, you can hold it in your hand. And before you open your eyes, you're going to take 4 big breaths to energize this scene. So in through your nose, breathing in. And on your exhale, open mouth, exhale. Last one. And just noticing that the energizing breaths make the picture brighter, warmer. Maybe it's closer to you. Now you have this little snapshot that's energized with this great emotion. Whenever you need it, you can pull it out and look at it. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Yeah. So I suggest, and I do this with all of my clients, but repeating for all your long-term goals. And now you'll have, anytime you think about your goal, you'll be able to include in that image a picture. You might even be able to like smell something, or if you smell something that you infused with your picture, it will automatically remind you of that goal without you having to think about it. It's a pretty cool process. And then to further this goal adventure, I suggest you think about it at the very least, every single day. So maybe you have your long-term goals just like written, and you don't have to even read through them. You can just look at them and then pull back that photo. So now it's like you're associating looking at the goal with already picturing it happen. So I personally do this at least 10 minutes a day. I do it while I'm still laying in my bed before I get up in the morning, or right before I go to sleep. So I'm just envisioning myself already have completed this goal. I'm so happy. And every single time I do it, some details change and they get more clear, or they get enhanced, or sometimes I subtract things. So in real time too, things can change as you get more clear about what your goal, what you want your goal to look like. And like I said, this is a great exercise for a float. I had envisioned this being something that you could perhaps offer people who are coming to float too. Like, hey, you want to do manifestation in your pod? This is how you do it. Like, just another thing to offer people, because I think a lot of people now are really getting into manifesting and understanding that vibrational ask of the things that they want. So it could be a fun thing to include in your floats. And then each time you visualize your goal, the best thing that you can do is really infuse it with the highest level emotion that you can. So joy and excitement, peace, love, gratitude. And let me just tell you, if you start being able to achieve these really high level states with just a simple goal exercise, all of your interactions throughout your whole day will change. You are accessing a higher vibration, which is going to bring higher quality people to you, higher quality experiences, more abundance. You're able to then anchor yourself with this visualization on the highest level of health you can achieve by tuning into these frequencies. Okay, and then I just wanted to, for all my people who are into science, because I sure am, I'm like, I need some science to back this up. So when you're traditionally writing goal setting, it's more of like a frontal lobe style brain involvement. But when you do this, you're actually activating your reticular activating system, which its main goal is to help you pay attention to the things that you're paying attention to. Like, this is why when you go to buy a car, and you buy a specific car, then you start seeing them everywhere, because now you're paying attention to that. And then on a daily basis, you're like, oh, what are they making more of this car? Like, why all of a sudden am I seeing that? It's because that part of your brain is paying attention to that goal. And so that is really also working with your subconscious programming. So now you don't have to seek out these things. They're just showing up in your awareness, and they're here for you. And it's your subconscious mind driving your bus. So you're just helping to program it to pay attention to the things that are going to help you be in alignment with those goals that you're setting. So when you start to deviate, so for instance, John, with your big goal that you had, when you start to deviate and participate in something that's going to steer you off course, you'll know, because you'll have a negative emotional reaction. You'll like have a weird feeling that it's like not your right course to be on. So then you can redirect your bus and you can say like, wait, what's happening? I need to come back here and regroup. I need to think about what's going on and how I can intentionally change something in this moment to get back on course. Or maybe it's at the end of the day instead of real time, you kind of reflect on, all right, were all the things that happened today, were they in alignment with my goal? Because you do have a big goal. But that's, again, your subconscious mind is kind of saying like, here, I'm going to give you a negative emotion to see if you can course correct and stay on task. Can you reach for a higher level emotion? And then visualization, as I'm sure all of you know, reducing stress, helping you to quiet and reducing the amount of clutter that exists in your brain. And it creates a clear vision and improves your mood. And that's again, the best thing that you can do for your health, your wellness. Manifestation is really reaching for those highly charged emotions. Like I said, joy, peace, love, gratitude, all of those.
Kat, what's your thought about like publicly sharing your goals? Because I know like I can think about this myself, and I wanted my manager to be on the call so she could hear my goals, and kind of like help me achieve those. But is that, common practice to share them, with the people who are in your daily life?
I think like for business goals, if you can all get on the same page and you had that everyone in your store do this exercise and you all had like a similar vision, that's like 8, however many people times the power of bringing things to you. So it could be a really awesome opportunity for if everyone can get on the same page. But personal goals, I personally kind of like work on them a little bit first until I'm very solid in the direction that I want to go in before I share it. Does that make sense? So like if I'm still kind of like, this is a big goal for me, I'm not very close to it, I'm going to work on getting clarity first and getting that energetic support before I go ahead and say, yeah, this already happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions so far? Good. So I wanted to share a really cool experience that happened when I used this with my client. So I was working with her. I do a 4-month program with people for self-regulation and emotional regulation, self-awareness, all of that stuff. And her goal was, at the beginning, she really didn't have a goal. She was extremely anxious, a lot of family trauma, a lot of trauma. And we got to this point where she was very self-aware and very aligned with what she wanted. And I was like, okay, like, what do you want? And she said, I want to have a farm where I host retreats for soldiers coming back from active duty who have PTSD. I'm like, amazing. That's really clear. So we worked on clarity and building her 5 sense integration, and then also creating a vision board, which is like the 5th step of what you can really do to have that visual representation. So now you have the words, but now you have this visual representation that could be a great exercise for a team. Like you just keep adding photos onto this vision board. So I had her do that, and the more clear she got, the more she'd put on her board. And every day she would look at it. Every day she would look at it. And then she started finding spaces. So she found one farm and she put down an offer and it didn't go through. And I was like, listen, the universe is bringing you information. This is the first time this farm came to you. It's giving you information. It's not going to be the first one. But in that experience, you'll find things that you can ask for and put on your board for the next one. Like, oh, I really loved this about the farm. Cool. Take that and put it on the board. That way you're not worried about this opportunity not really working out because it wasn't meant for you anyway. It's just giving you information about clarity so that you can ask again. She had 3 more offers that didn't go through. She actually did a really good job of like staying her course instead of getting super down. She's like, oh, this one didn't work out, or oh, somebody outbid me. And then all of a sudden she was like, I found the perfect place. She got a huge discount on it because there was mold all in the house. And she had a mold person come and he was like, oh, this I could take care of this like today for $200. And she was like, I just got a massive discount on this house because it had mold. So the more clear she got, the more support actually came in too. Now all of these contractors are coming to her to want to help because she has this vision that she is sharing at this point. And these people are like, oh my gosh, yes, there's people that want to help with the clearing of the pasture and helping with the house and demolition, and she's all of these people supporting this, and it's based off of this idea that she had that she continued to refine and didn't allow the missed opportunities to steer her off course. She maintained her course and she was just like, nope, okay, I want this, I'm going to put it here and I'm going to put it on my board. And so now she's very well on her way to creating an equine therapy retreat for soldiers who have PTSD and aren't seeking therapy because it's hard to come back from wartime and interact with someone who doesn't have any experience being in combat. But a horse, a horse is not going to judge you, or they're not going to have the same reaction that a person might. So yeah, through this experience, it's just been really cool, and how easy it was for her. Everything was just like very easy because she already pictured it happening. She was like, I already know it's coming, and it came. So
I'm just going to tell you, that's what happened for me, just opening my float spa.
Yeah.
It was very much all of those things.
Okay, tell us more. Did you do like goal setting and like visualization?
Yes, and a Pinterest board with all kinds of fun stuff. And I told everybody, and consistently was supported along the way. I mean, it was just opened up.
Yes.
And then even just we opened right before COVID, and we've managed to survive and thrive through that. So
that's amazing. Congrats.
I believe that. Thanks.
So you already have the social proof that works for you, and now you have some scientific evidence. You have a maybe more clear process, but yeah, doing that exact thing. Has anyone else kind of had that happen where you pictured yourself doing something and been like very clear about it, and then of course it happens?
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly, I'm telling you. I'll tell you, you guys want to hear a crazy story?
Yes.
So the lady comes into the float center. This is like when we first opened a couple of years ago. She's like, what do you do? And it's like all these synchronicities started happening while I was taking her through the journey, what I call the journey. She wasn't there to float yet, but I was walking her through the float center, showing her the tanks and everything. And then there was this guest in the lounge, and she was still like, I don't know. And this guest in the lounge was just like having this like extremely powerful emotional experience. And like she shared what she had written in the float journal with the person I was doing this walkthrough for. And I just wanted this person to just understand, like, this is something that's so powerful. But that exact moment, and then she kind of left, and she's like, you got to be one of the best marketers in the world to be able to set all that up for every single, because I can see it now, you can sell it. And I'm like, no, that was truly a genuine experience, because you needed to have that to see how powerful this was. Now she's one of our best guests, of course. So, but this happens all the time. It's amazing. It really is.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Anybody else? Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. Now you just have maybe some clarification or some validation that it's an actual thing. Yeah. So, and then the last slide I just had was, again, if you're interested in understanding like what is happening during those mystical experiences, these are just some resources to further read about what's going on when you're including your five senses and your reticular activating system. And
I'm gonna go buy an
what?
FC Austin jersey and wear it every day until it
Yeah.
happens.
Yes.
Will you be sending out the slide deck?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I sent it to Man. I sent it to you, right, Mandy?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, we'll definitely share it. We'll upload it to the FTA for everybody.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then
Thank
it's
It's a good
coming.
team activity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I'm gonna use it
And
for.
and just like your Pinterest board, like having in the break room, even if you're just that's your vision and you want to like subtly influence everybody else, you put pictures of what you want to achieve. And now they're seeing that, and then like you can even talk about it, and like they will be drawn to your excitement. So then if you, like I said, if you can get multiple people on the same wavelength or frequency, you will have magic in your spas.
Well, I have to tell you, I have the best employees. I've been very, very fortunate. And my first one came to me, literally called me before we were open. And I was out of town and she called and she said, introduced herself and said, I was going to open a float in the area where you actually have opened a float. And I just wanted, and I'm pool certified and I've, gone through the, float internship training. And I'd like to help you. And I'm like, okay. She was my first employee out of the gate. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And because they started with me from scratch, they really are just as excited when we succeed, if somebody has a good time as I am. It's pretty cool.
That's great.
And I just keep asking the universe to bring me more.
I was gonna say,
Right,
John,
yeah.
you need to figure out how she
Yes.
did that. Get yourself some people that already know what to do.
John's bringing it. I know he is.
You know what I find too is because the nature of what we do, it really does bring positivity. So it is a true fact that it's almost like I feel as though I am in a state of constant transcendental meditation in a lot of ways, but I'm also affirming all of these different things. I'm looking and seeking, but people find us, and so over the years, just being in this state, I feel like it's such a great practice. Like just truly imagining yourself to be where you need to be, where you ought to be, and making that a reality. It's like the better version of fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? But this one is the true one. This one's the one you really should focus on. Like don't fake it till you make it. I don't think that that's really going to get you anywhere. Maybe for some it does, but this is more like really truly believe, and you're going to take the path of least resistance to get there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I really believe that.
Yes.
I wanted to ask too, for anybody that might be listening, this is something that they can follow along with, right? So like if they listen to this upload that we're going to be putting out there for the FTA, they can kind of follow along with what you were describing in some of these activities, and they can kind of write their own thoughts and kind of have an end result, then hopefully they can achieve their same goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also had the idea of, I know you can put music in the float tank, but you can also on your phone, like record yourself reading through your goals as if they've already happened. Like you're telling yourself a story, and you can play it in the car. You can play it when you're zoning out, right? Because that's when you're zoning out, you're in theta brainwave state. So you're actually able to pick your trance, right? Like you're directly programming your subconscious mind during theta brainwave state. So at the beginning, like right when you wake up in the morning and right before you go to sleep, those are like optimal times to play that track for yourself. or if you're mindlessly like on the computer searching something and you play that little track, you're programming yourself to say like, oh yeah, this already happened. Oh yeah, this is my reality. And then you don't believe anything else. So then it just comes to you much faster.
I love that idea.
So definitely a new marketing angle, I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, seriously,
Mm.
like I'm thinking about it now. Like
me too. Like,
as
how
a
can we
business
how can we make
person,
this a
though, I'm always
program?
like, maybe I can upsell that a little bit.
Me too.
Yeah, like manifestation pod, have it play right, have it be the music that in or allows them to get settled, and then the
You
music
can
that wakes them
trademark
up.
that name, right? I mean, manifestation pod. I think you nailed it. That's perfect.
It's my gift to you.
Well, thank you, thank you. That's very generous of you.
Yeah,
Well, Kat, this has
but
been amazing. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. It's been fun. And honestly, the best thing that you guys could do is give me confirmation when you start to reach your goals by just emailing me and being like, hey, this worked. I'm like, yeah, I know. But also, yay.
That's
Well,
great.
Kat, I can tell you, it just might have worked for me a couple of times because I envisioned where sitting around as an undergraduate in the cafeteria with all my fellow geeks. We all imagined where we were going to be,
Hmm.
and I made it to exactly where I said I was going to be, hit that goal. And then at another point, I said I wanted to become the microbiologist in pools and spas. And I am
Woohoo!
globally.
You certainly are, my friend.
And when I say I wrote the book, I wrote the book on
Woohoo!
pools and spas.
Yeah, Roy.
That's
And so then I
amazing.
ran into this group of crazy loons and I go, these people are positive, unlike some of the other people. Maybe I'll hang around these people a little bit. And it's been an incredible journey for the last 4 years.
Wow. I love that.
So I'm the one that's not in the industry. I'm just the old pool boy microbiologist tuned into floating.
We're really
Tune into
happy that you're here.
I'm
Roy.
I'm gonna rename him that. Roy Vore, the pool boy.
Yeah, pool boy.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
But
Kat,
how cool that you're tuned into the frequency of being wanting to be around these people who keep that as their baseline. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Because
so
it's
Kat,
like hanging around dull people or down people is a huge psychological downer. Hanging around positive outlook or is a very enhancing experience for all of
Hmm.
us.
Yeah, for sure.
Kat, for anybody that might be listening to this, because a lot of people might not watch the video but might listen to it, would you be able to just give us your email address, provide your email, your website, best way to contact you?
Yes. So my email is hellocat with a K, K-A-T, at TRE with a dash, wellnessconsulting.com. My Instagram is Kat, K-A-T, Smailis, Smailis. And my website is TRE with a dash, wellnessconsulting.com.
Awesome. And you welcome anyone to email you that listens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, tell me about your experience using this because it's pretty life-changing. And like I said, I think it will be really cool for you to play around with how to add that into the float spa.
Awesome. Well, you heard
Absolutely.
it firsthand, friends. Send Kat an email because she wants to know how the experience works for her. And I have this suspicion that it's going to be amazing for so many people.
Yeah. I hope it changes your trip for Europe because everything's just going to be taken care of and you're going to send us maybe email me a picture of you like in Europe just like, yeah,
Well, I have this innate ability to visualize. So I actually, when you were doing that meditation, I was really truly there. I was there. When you asked me what I was tasting food. You know, I'm 50% Danish, so really like you know, that's where my family reigns, you know, Denmark. But you know, I eat the food, I like the customs, and you know, I I just I was there. I was there. It was great. So
Awesome.
man, it's a good thing, you know. I mean, you're doing a great thing here. I love it.
Thank
Thank
you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you, Kat. Thanks everyone for joining us. The recording will end up online for all the FTA members. And unless there's any other questions, we'll wrap it up.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kat.
Bye.
Thank you so much.